The roots of Western security failures lie in strategy, in the irrelevance of policy dogmas to new forms of technological conflict. To grasp the nature and extent of the problem, we must ask, what is strategy? At the risk of oversimplification, it has three main elements: axioms about the realm of possible behavior, assumptions about adversaries' motives and objectives in the plane of contention, and principles of action that relate these assumptions to each other and to one's own objectives and resources. In the adaptation of strategy to the cyber revolution, problems abound in all three elements. The first set of problems concerns prevailing understandings of the world as shaped and constrained by science. What forms of behavior are possible, even if one has not seen it all? And how does technology both expand and limit the scope of action? Crucially, this domain of strategy encompasses not only observed, but also plausible behavior. More important than inventing resources that enable new forms of strategic action is devising axioms that enable one to identify and foresee them before the opponents, and thus prepare for the growing scope of conceivable rivalry. Problems exist, second, in assumptions about the nature of the opponents, chiefly Russia and China, but also other capable subversive players, such as North Korea and Iran, and increasingly, private culprits who operate below the structures of the state system, but whose actions sometimes affect interests within it. What motivations and grievances drive them? To what ends? And what capabilities do they possess, especially in relation to one's own? And about ourselves we must ask, what are we willing to risk, and what for? As Chapter 2 will discuss, the main thrust of Western policy efforts to prevent technological aggression seeks to co-opt autocratic opponents into a liberal legal and normative framework, more imagined than real, not recognizing that they interpret the framework differently, as a guide to pursue activist foreign policies which seek to subvert the international order to serve their own ends. Third are problems involving the synthesis of these various elements, how to relate new technological possibilities for action, the adversary's intentions, and one's own resources to the pursuit of valid goals without committing or risking too much.